Hello, there is a wonderful movie coming out to theaters March 31st for Easter this year. You do not want to miss it. It's called His Only Son, and I'm so excited to be a part of the team that is helping to promote it. My husband and I actually got to sit down and watch it last night. It is so good. Let me share a little bit of the background and the details. This is actually the first movie ever to crowdfund its theatrical release. So initially it was only going to be in about 600 theaters, but thanks to the crowdfunding, they raised over $1,235,000 in under a week. So now it's showing in 1,200 theaters, and that continues to grow. I will leave all the links down below that you can click on and see where the closest theater is to you, where it is playing. I encourage you to get your tickets now. This was produced by Angel Studios, which is the same studio that brought you The Chosen. I just love seeing scripture come to life. And in this movie, they did such an amazing job. And they talked about being on a shoestring budget, but it does not come across that way at all. Filming was done so well. My husband even commented that the actors and actresses were just so good.
I'm going to go with this, and this is actually a story I shared in the last. We'd actually had about 1,700 different applicants apply and in many cases audition for the role of Abraham, and we couldn't find anyone who fit the part exactly the way I had envisioned it when writing the script. And one day we were getting really close and really late in the game. What I did was I went on IMDb. I typed in like the different types of traits that I was looking for, and I just started scrolling down and scrolling down and scrolling down. The next day we get a response from Nicola from Lebanon. He ends up sending a phone video of him reading a segment of the script, which is a really emotionally deep part of a moment in the film. It was like syllable for syllable, moment for moment, pause for pause, mannerism for mannerism, exactly how I pictured it when I wrote the film. So I was like, I told Roma, I was like, cast him right now. We need to lock him in for the part. And so the first conversation I had with Nicola over the phone, he was like, I was just talking to a filmmaker friend of mine, and I said, hey, how do I get more international gigs? And he said, well, you need to make an IMDb page. And I kept procrastinating. And then finally I made an IMDb page. And the next day I got an email from Roman. So it's just, it was amazing to see how that all came together.
This tells the story. It says, His Only Son recounts one of the most controversial moments in the Old Testament when Abraham was commanded by God to sacrifice his son Isaac on the mountain of Moriah. And Moriah is where Jesus was also crucified. And when I say, like, it just really brings the scripture to life, when you really think about the story, going back, God promised Abraham and Sarah this child, and they're waiting and waiting, and it just really brings to life, like, Sarah was in just such despair of like, okay, well, God promised this child and I'm still barren, I still am not able to have a child. And finally she just breaks down and says to her husband, okay, well, here, take my maid, if you're promised this child, here, have this child. And it's one thing to just kind of like read that in the Bible, and another to see like that family dynamic of a loving husband and wife, and the wife saying that to her husband. And then of course, like the real raw emotions that come with that. Now here is this maid that lives within their household that is pregnant with her husband's child. There's real raw emotions that go with that. So just bringing that all to life, and you just see the agony and the anguish. So it was a 3-day hike or 3-day walk for Abraham and Isaac and the servants to get from where they lived to Moriah. And just over those 3 days, you can just see like the anguish in Abraham, but his faith is, remains strong. It's good. It's very, very good. So again, the links are below. You don't want to miss it. Check it out.
Abraham.
The Lord came to me last night. I must go to Moriah and make a sacrifice to him there.
Why, Isaac?
Because the Lord commands it. What's your purpose in this?
Take me!